We are praying for the peace of Jerusalem. I know that there have been actually people that have been killed by the bombs, and of course, we know there's a whole story there about Iran having the access to a nuclear weapon, which they have said if they get that kind of access, they will annihilate Israel. So Israel had no choice but to deal with getting rid of that nuclear facility, because we've tried to deal with it, tried to work with it. Past presidents have sent money, millions and billions of dollars to them, and it's crazy right now. But our dear friend Barry Segal actually texts me, and I know some of our other contacts, Jonathan, have texts as well. But we're going to give an update probably every day on what's going on in Israel, because that's near and dear to our heart and to our viewers that are watching. I do see the phone lines are going crazy, so if you can't get through, just keep trying to call in that one name of that person that the Lord has burdened your heart for. We're going to believe for them to be saved. But Jonathan, give us an update.
Yeah, Joni, as you mentioned, Iran was actually just under a week away from having the nuclear capabilities to arm over 9 bombs. So this timing was absolutely essential. And now what we see is many people bunkered down in bomb shelters all across Israel amidst a heated war in direct defense against Iran. The world's watching with bated breath, but what's unfolding goes far beyond breaking news. It is the most decisive air campaign in Israel's history, and is known as Operation Rising Lion, or Am Ke Lavi. Israel was compelled to act after President Donald Trump issued a 60-day ultimatum to Iran, demanding a peace deal or consequences, an ultimatum that expired without resolution. With diplomacy exhausted, Israel launched a surgical strike targeting only the nuclear facilities, nuclear scientists, and senior regime officials, intentionally avoiding civilian infrastructure. This campaign is reshaping the Middle East security landscape, and it's dismantling Iran's nuclear deterrent and redrawing the regional balances of power. Joining us now by phone from Israel to share what he has witnessed and experienced firsthand, let's welcome the founder of Vision for Israel, Barry Segal. How are you, sir?
Shalom, shalom, Jonathan. I'm very well, thank you. Appreciate the time and the effort that you put into and everybody supporting Israel. But yes, it's a very challenging time right now for all of us. And any time of day or night, we may be called into the bomb shelter at our home or wherever we're at. It's at work, at the Millennium Center of Vision for Israel, or at home. It's very intense, but those of us who trust in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob know that we have to ride through the storm and make it through during this time. But the sad thing is over 600 Israelis, both Jews and Arabs alike, Israeli residents and citizens, have been injured, and at least 24 dead since last Friday.
The attack has been really, really savage. I have a photo that I put together showing that just exactly what Israel did as far as targeting Iran was very surgical. They hit the nuclear plants, they hit the Iranian regime officials, they did not take out civilian infrastructure. They were so tactical that they actually hit the regime officials on the 8th floor, missing the 7th and the 9th floor. So there is no civilian casualties. On the other hand, Iran is firing ballistic missiles like crazy, and what we're seeing is the deaths of women and children and babies. It's so tragic. What are you experiencing there in Israel, as you said, running to bomb shelters? What's the sentiment of the people?
Well, let me start by saying this. Literally just a short while before calling you in from Jerusalem, actually we were today cooking 432 600-gram burgers, kosher and juicy, for over 300 soldiers from the rescue units that have been actually digging through the rubble of apartment buildings and office buildings and homes to rescue Israelis. And some of them have just been working like 48 hours straight with hardly any sleep at all. So we could see in their eyes the tiredness, the weariness, and obviously they're pulling dead bodies out or helping the injured from high floors that have been decimated and hit. One of the sad stories, of course, was an Arab-Israeli village near Haifa called Tamra, where 5 Arab Christian ladies were killed by an Iranian missile. And I want people to understand, it's the Ayatollah Khamenei himself a jihadist regime, just like Adolf Hitler, that is targeting and gave the green light to his forces, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps and the missile launch teams in Iran, to target innocent men, women, and children throughout Israel. So it's the Ayatollah who gave the green light. We know this in intelligence. We know it for sure. So that's one of the hard factors. What people don't realize, they're shooting at us large explosive warheads that some of which are 1,100 pounds, the same kind launched against us last April and October of last year. So the devastation is awful. They're also shooting hypersonic missiles at us as well. So, you know, for my wife and I and my son, who's a good friend of yours, and his family, and he has 3 children, you know, if it's 2 a.m, you have to rush to the bomb shelter. They kind of set up a one-room in their bomb shelter to bring the kids in. There are other families that have been living 20 years like this on the borders of northern and southern Israel with smaller rockets from Hamas and Hezbollah. But now is the time to deal with it. So Operation Rising Lion is no longer just an operation. It's a full-fledged war. But Israel, thank God, Israel now has air superiority over Western Iran and, of course, Tehran. And we're just having to warn them that you're hitting our civilian population. Well, now we're going to hit your infrastructure.
You know, I want to say that it's important to also realize that the Ayatollah is actually in hiding outside of Tehran, and that Israel has completely owned the airspace over Iran. And there's some strategic ways that we as believers can be praying for this war to completely end. One is the U.S. needs to give the right bombs to Israel so they can go deep into the bunkers where the last nuclear facilities are. That is so key. And the other one is to pray for preservation of innocent lives. That's including the Iranian people who are also thrilled. There's tons of clips on social media about Israel actually doing this attack because they want freedom from this regime. And of course, the citizens of Israel, and they are also being attacked from these ballistic missiles. So we have to pray for the innocent lives that are both nations. Joni, I know you have some thoughts about what we're sharing today.
Well, Barry, I just appreciate you sharing. And of course, you know, we have been a tremendous supporter of Israel and so many of the different causes there. And we want to send you some help as well, and we will do that. And as you know, people give to Daystar, and 100% goes to Israel. So if you're watching today and you want to give and you want to be a part of helping, I would just encourage you to go to the phone right now and just say, hey, I would like to help with this, and just say Israel. And we'll make sure and get that money to Barry. You know, I was thinking, like you said, Jonathan, I saw on social media, there was even, you sent me a clip of an Arab Christian man in Israel, I guess, who had been visiting Italy. He came back home, and one of the bombs struck his home, killed his wife, his 2 daughters, and his sister-in-law. We have to understand there are so many people being affected, Barry, because Iran is going for schools and for civilians, whereas Israel is going for the nuclear facility and the people that are over that. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And you know, it's interesting that even the Iranians themselves, many of the Iranians in the streets who have been enslaved by this jihadist regime under the Ayatollah and his henchmen, they're also holding signs up in different parts of Iran saying, we Iranians stand with Israel. And they want to overthrow this regime once and for all. So we need to also pray, along with what Jonathan was saying, that the IRGC, Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, and the Iranian military will be weakened so much that they will defect en masse and give the opportunity for the people once again of Iran to overthrow this despotic regime. And that way we can also see the gospel of the kingdom go forward. And I do want to say, Joni and Jonathan and all of the Daystar partners, you know, Vision for Israel so far we have placed 438 bomb safety shelters across the north and south parts of Israel. That's over 29 million pounds of rebar and concrete. And Daystar TV partners have donated 50 of these just so far, as well as some ambulances we partnered together on. It's amazing. So I think it's important that people realize it's not just that we're praying for the spiritual restoration of Israel, the Jewish people, the Arab people, and the entire Middle East. But we're also, we have to also understand the physical restoration, and that's to save lives. Saving lives is all about changing hearts and showing God's compassionate love for the nation of Israel and the peoples of the Middle East. So I personally, on behalf of Bati and myself, Vision for Israel, want to thank Daystar TV and your partners and for all that you've done with us. And we want to continue together to be a shining example of God's kingdom in excellence. So there's a lot more that's going to be happening in the coming days. And we just need to pray that, we've had devastation occur in cities like Tel Aviv and Rishon LeZion and Bat Yam and Haifa and the Arab towns. So just keep on standing with us, and we encourage all of you to continue to pray for Israel to complete the task and that America will come alongside and, as Jonathan said, take out the rest of the nuclear facilities that we're incapable of doing with our particular aircraft. But I believe that God's in control, and our prayers will do much. So pray for us also at Vision for Israel and our team that we'll be safe and have the strength and reach the goals to reach thousands of people in Israel's time of need.
Thank you so much, Barry, for joining us and for that boots on the ground report. We are going to continue to pray for all of the innocent lives that are impacted by this war, both in Israel and in Iran. And we continue to give. We're going to be working with multiple organizations over the coming months to just help be a blessing to the nation and the people of Israel. So go to daystar.com/Israel. Stay up to date with our projects. And of course, tune into Ministry Now, where we will be giving daily updates on this war as it progresses. Back to you, Joni and Dr. Doug.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. And we'll be giving you updates every day on what's going on. So continue to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Well, before you leave, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, we would love to hear how the Lord is moving and touching your heart right now. So be sure to comment below and then share this video with someone you feel needs it just as much as you did.